Hello, hi, how are you? I hope you're good. Today I'm here for another book review. I will be reviewing Nightmare by Chad Nicholas. Now I will say that this was sent to me by the author. He reached out to me and asked if I would like to review his new book, which by the time that this video is up, I believe the book is out in the world. So if you're looking for a new release horror, psychological horror, you might want to pick this up. It might be the perfect book for you, but we're going to get into that in a bit. Chad Nicholas, as far as I know, this is his debut self-published book, and I just want to say that this is a really well put together, at least the hardback itself book. It is beautiful. It has this crow on the front, scarecrow in the back, but with the hardback naked, it is just, again, it's beautiful. This is what the hardback looks like underneath, and it's a beautifully put together book. And even the chapter headers in this book are really beautiful as well. There's illustrations, so I really like that about this book. It's just a gorgeous book. So I will say, for that alone, I think you might be interested in this book. But the book itself, Nightmare, is the story of Scott, who as a kid, he was abducted, kidnapped, and, held for a very long time by this horrible person who abused him for very long. So right off the bat, trigger warning in this story for abuse and assault and so many other things. This book does not hold back. So Scott, as a kid, is eventually able to escape and go on with his life, but of course he deals with a lot from this. He's gone through, he has so much trauma, but we follow him later on in life as he's older. He has a family, he has kids, but he starts to have these nightmares that are haunting him in a way, and these nightmares lead Scott to believe that something is coming for him and that he has to protect his family and whatnot. And not long into this book, we find out, I wouldn't say it's much of a spoiler, but Scott, as a result of his past trauma, he now has DID, dissociative identity disorder. So Scott's split personality in a way is out to get him, and he has to protect his family. That is the story, and I won't say anything else on what happens. This is like I said, a psychological horror. I think if you're interested in a book that is very fast-paced, that has you questioning things left and right, that you just will not know what is fully going on, even to the last two chapters, you were just so confused. I was so terribly confused, and I was irritated and angry with characters and just frustrated, and then the two chapters at the end happened, and then I understood everything, and I wanted to go back and reread everything because then everything made sense, of course. But I would say that if you're a fan of psychological horror, if you love a good book that's just gonna make you super confused, this is the one for you. I would say, though, I'm not sure this book is going to be for everyone because of the portrayal of mental illness in this book. I will say, if this is something that you are uncomfortable with on certain portrayals of mental illnesses, then maybe don't read this, because I'm not sure if the way that DID in this book is handled in a way that is okay, or like glorifying on the illness is what I'm trying to say, just because I know that this is really sensitive to a lot of people, and if a book portrays something in a way that's not in a positive outlook for a mental illness, then I think that is something that needs to be talked about. So just know that this book deals on the forefront with DID, and if that's something that bothers you when it's told in a horror story, and that's the main thing, then just beware of that. But that being said, I do think that this is still a really thrilling story that I personally enjoyed up till the end. So I'm just gonna throw that out there, if that's just so you know, okay? Let's talk a little bit about the writing. The first 20 to 50 pages are a little bit hard to get into. It's a little, I would say it's a slow build, and then the two-thirds of the way through and on, this book grips you completely, and the writing gets a lot better. It's interesting to me how in the beginning the writing was just very, just basic, and then it got a lot better. So just keep that in mind. Character development, I will say the character development in this story is a little flat, and I want to say that in this sort of book I would have liked a lot more of character development, because these are characters that you really have to be connected to for this kind of story. In this thriller, of course, the plot is at the forefront, but when you have these type of characters that are in this type of situation, I feel like a little bit more character growth or arc would have been needed for this kind of story, especially with, I want to say, the children and the wife, because there were just so many things that I just was confused about, and I just was very lost. And maybe that was the entire point of the story. The entire point of the story could have been just to confuse you the entire time because of a certain spoiler at the end that I can't get into. But just know that the writing, like I said, is so-so, the characters, again, so-so, but the plot itself is just so crazy because, like I said, you really don't know what is going on. In the beginning you think one thing, halfway through you think another thing, and then almost to the end you think something else, and then at the end you're just like, what is going on? It makes you so frustrated, so angry, and yet you just keep reading. So I don't know. I think if you are a fan of psychological horror, this is the perfect book for you, but just be wary of, you know, all of the graphic content that is in this book. It doesn't hold back, but it is really, really intriguing. So at the end of the day, if you're looking for a really good indie horror that is a new release, I would recommend this, but like I said, just be wary of the other stuff that I mentioned. So that is Nightmare by Chad Nicholas. Oh, there are two other things I need to mention. Okay, so this book is super creepy in the beginning because this book has a lot of crows in it, right? That is a big part of the story. And if you've ever seen The Birds, that's directed by Alfred Hitchcock, yeah, I can never say his name. That movie totally reminded me of this in the beginning, and that movie as a kid made me a little scared of birds, and that has such a huge prevalence in this book. So if you really like that movie because of the feel and the atmosphere, you might like this. So I just want to point that out. Was there another thing I wanted to say? There might have been, but honestly my mind is gone. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, so I'm gonna leave it at that. This is Nightmare by Chad Nicholas. I hope if you have read this in the comments below, you'd let me know your thoughts and opinions. I really want to go into spoilers on this one, you guys, but I don't want to spoil this book, and I would love to chat about the ending of this book with people because I just I have so many thoughts and feelings. So if you have read it, send me a message or leave it in the comments, but put like spoilers so people know, okay? Anyway, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in a couple days with another review. Bye!